Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Snap out.
What a hot over roll made you feel your pants?
2, 1. Woo! And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the American Movie Podcast. This is your host, Matthew Benjamin. Do not forget to subscribe Monday through Friday. We do live streams, podcasts, news, movies, all kinds of stuff, so you don't want to miss out. With that out of the way, let's get to Monsters. Monsters, episode 3 of The Walking Dead. It was, a lot of terrible things happened and nothing really got resolved, okay? Typical with The Walking Dead. First and foremost, spoilers. The episode ended with Ezekiel getting pretty much bombarded from overhead fire, and there was multiple people that died. I don't think Ezekiel died because there was swarms of people that covered him at the end, and I think he'll survive just because he has horrible dialogue. I'm not a fan of Ezekiel. He's like this bombastic, disingenuous dude that said, hey man, just lie and inspire, and that's it. So I'm not a big fan of Ezekiel, but I love this episode. I don't know. He's a little crazy to me. He's just a little kooky. I feel like he was a previous improv actor and just kind of made his way through the Walking Dead universe just by pure luck. So anyways, the majority of this episode was the internal dynamics and tension growing inside of Rick and the gang. Rick and the gang. And there's 3 instances where I think that there's evidence that this is going to happen. Okay, so they have to remember what they're fighting for, and they're fighting for mercy and a better future and the removal of Negan and pretty much the devastating effect Negan has. So they're trying to do that, but all the meanwhile, within the casualties of war and just the chaos that's going in it, actors inside of Rick's gang forget, and they start to get, the lethality bleeds over from Negan's group into, let's say, Daryl. Daryl just immediately roasted Morales, which I knew was a MacGuffin. Dude, it was silly to have him in there. It was just like a 10-second thing, like, oh my God, we got to tune into the 3rd episode because Morales was in there or whatever. So anyways, Daryl's just without discretion killing left and right, not abiding by Rick's word at the end as well, like such as the very end scene right here. We have Rick make a pat for, I believe his name's Todd, at the end, and Todd shot at both of them, and they make a deal, and Daryl just overrules Rick's deal and murders Todd. And that is going against the ideology of the group, and so I think there will be a fight because Daryl is just a loose cannon. He was been in solitude for a long time. He hasn't really broken down or come to what happened to him inside of that cell that Negan had him in. So he's just kind of taking and laying waste on people without discretion, without thinking about the ideology. So there will be definitely, I'm seeing a fight between Rick and Daryl. I really think that's going to happen because Rick is going to be like, man, we have to abide by our word. And Daryl's not going to be, he's not going to be a fan. Similar to another thing that broke down within the group was Jesus and Morgan. Morgan's just in pure delirium right now. He's just hanging out, and he yo-yoed from peaceful Morgan to just murderous Morgan. And see, that's Jesus is trying to abide by it, and then Morgan just loses his mind and shoves Jesus, and then they go into this cool fight, which it was enjoyable. But I just think Rick has to sit these guys down and calm them down because there's just too much going on in between forces of the casualties of war and like just the chaos going inside. So like he has to sit these guys down, tell them what time it is, and say, hey, we have to be merciful. We can't be like Negan. We can't just murder people. And so another point where Maggie let Gregory back into the hillside. There's another one with the internal dynamic of just people not agreeing with the actual reason why they're fighting. So Maggie allows Gregory back in. People protest, and they're like, dude, he deserted us. He sold us out. And Gregory just kind of weaseled his way back in through his words and apologized and all kinds of stuff and pretty much just said whatever he needed to say to get inside because he's just kind of a coward. So people disputed upon that, letting Gregory in, and then they let the survivors in as well. Or the saviors, not the survivors. They let the saviors in at the very end once they get past all of those walkers and everything, and people dispute upon that too. and it's very dangerous because they're mid war right now. So it's complicated, and no one's taking lead. And I think this is a mistake because Rick isn't making it about him, but he's not making it about the effort as either. Like, people aren't just disagreeing upon what they're fighting for. So he has to either step up or make sure everybody recognizes what they're doing and why they're doing it, not just because Negan needs to go. It's so they can have a fruitful future together at Hillside and everywhere else. So then you need to understand that, and they're not coalescing in the way that they should be as a team. So, and there was another, okay, we got Eric and Aaron, that travesty, man, he died. That was not cool. It was a really moving scene right here. Unless you're listening on iTunes, I've got it playing in the background, and just, the guy steals the show. Marquand, yeah, he's really good at this scene. He's really, really good. And I don't know if you've ever seen Marquand do other accents and stuff. He has a Mean McConaughey and a Brad Pitt and an Al Pacino. So if you get bored, check that out too. It's a funny video. It's like I'm pretty sure it's just like a audition tape, just to show his range. So he's really talented in that, and he did great in this too. So do not forget to subscribe. Monday through Friday, I do live streams, podcasts. Do not forget to subscribe on iTunes as well if you have not. You can take American Movie Podcast on the go. And thank you so much for watching. This has been Matthew Benjamin with the American Movie Podcast. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, 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 bye.
I've been frozen for 30 years, okay? Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Snap out. What, a hot older woman made you feel her pants? I'm crying.